Well, hello there. I'm Matthew McConaughey, and tonight you are invited to travel far beyond busy roads, far beyond crowded cities, and far beyond the places marked on ordinary maps. There is no hurry where we are going, no deadlines, no responsibilities, no noise demanding your attention, only a calm sea, a quiet sky, and a journey that unfolds one peaceful moment at a time. As you settle into comfort, allow your breathing to slow, allow your shoulders to soften, allow the weight of the day to gently drift away. The story begins beside a harbor, a small harbor, a peaceful harbor, a harbor known simply as Harbor Blue. The town rested beside a sheltered bay where the sea remained calm throughout the year. White cottages lined the shoreline. Stone pathways wound between flower gardens. Wind chimes hung from porches and gently sang whenever the evening breeze arrived from the water. The people who lived there valued simple things: morning sunlight, fresh bread, friendly conversations, the sound of waves against wooden docks. And among the townspeople lived a man named Rowan. Rowan was a cartographer, a maker of maps. For many years he had traveled the world, creating charts of coastlines, islands, rivers, and hidden coves. His maps were admired far beyond Harbor Blue. Sailors trusted them, travelers treasured them, explorers carried them into distant places. Yet Rowan's favorite maps were never the famous ones. His favorite maps were the quiet ones, maps of places few people noticed. A hidden garden path, a peaceful fishing cove, a hillside where wildflowers bloomed every spring, a forgotten bench overlooking the sea. He believed every place held a story, and every story deserved to be remembered. This evening, summer was slowly coming to an end. The last warm days lingered over Harbor Blue. The sea reflected shades of gold and silver. The sky glowed softly as the sun drifted toward the horizon. Rowan sat inside his workshop overlooking the harbor. The workshop smelled faintly of cedar wood. Shelves lined the walls. Maps filled drawers. Compasses rested beside ink bottles. Rolls of parchment occupied nearly every available surface. A lantern glowed softly above his desk, and upon that desk lay a map unlike any he had ever created. It was unfinished, almost blank. Only a few faint lines crossed the parchment. A handful of islands appeared near the center, and across the top, written in careful handwriting, were 4 simple words: the Quiet Seas. Rowan studied the unfinished map. For months he had heard stories about the Quiet Seas. Old sailors spoke of them in whispers. Fishermen mentioned them during calm evenings. Travelers occasionally referenced them before changing the subject entirely. No one seemed able to explain exactly where they were. No one could point to them upon a chart. Yet the stories persisted. A place beyond ordinary waters. A place where time slowed. A place where forgotten wonders waited beneath moonlit skies. Most people dismissed the tales, but Rowan never did, because maps begin with curiosity, and curiosity often begins with stories. Outside the workshop window, the harbor bells chimed softly. The sound drifted across the water, one note, then another, gentle, unhurried, comforting. Rowan rose from his chair and stepped onto the balcony, overlooking the bay. The evening air felt cool against his skin. Fishing boats rested quietly at their moorings. The lighthouse stood watch at the edge of the harbor. Seagulls glided above the water, and beyond everything else, the horizon stretched endlessly toward the west, a place where sea met sky, a place where possibilities waited. As he watched, an elderly sailor approached along the dock below. His name was Captain Alder, among the oldest residents of Harbor Blue, among the wisest as well. His beard was silver, his eyes bright, his pace slow but steady. Captain Alder noticed Rowan standing above and raised a hand in greeting. "Still thinking about the Quiet Seas?" he called. Rowan smiled. "Every day." The captain laughed softly. "Then perhaps it is time." Rowan leaned against the railing. "Time for what?" The old sailor looked toward the horizon. "Time to stop drawing maps of places other people have already found." The harbor breeze stirred gently. Neither man spoke for a moment. The sea seemed to listen. At last, Captain Alder continued. When I was young, I searched for the quiet seas. Rowan straightened slightly. The old sailor rarely spoke about his travels. You found them? Captain Alder smiled. In a way, the answer seemed mysterious, but somehow perfectly fitting. Where are they? Rowan asked. The old sailor shook his head. If I told you where they were, he said softly, you would never truly find them. The harbor bells chimed again. Their notes drifted across the water like distant memories. Captain Alder adjusted his coat, then reached into a pocket. From it, he produced a small brass compass. Old, beautiful, well-worn from years of travel. He held it upward. Take this. Rowan descended the stairs and joined him on the dock. The brass compass felt cool in his hands. Its surface carried tiny scratches from countless journeys. The needle moved smoothly beneath the glass, yet something seemed unusual. Instead of pointing north, the needle drifted slowly in circles, almost dreamily, as though searching for something. This compass belonged to my grandfather, said Captain Alder, and to his grandfather before him. Rowan examined it carefully. What does it point toward? The captain smiled. Not where, a gentle pause. But when? The answer raised even more questions, yet strangely, it also felt right. Captain Alder turned toward the sea. The quiet seas appear when they wish to be found. The compass will know. Rowan looked from the compass to the horizon. The evening light had deepened. The first stars appeared overhead, one by one, patiently, silently. The world seemed to be settling into night. Captain Alder began walking back toward town. After several steps, he paused. Without turning around, he said, "If you decide to sail," his voice carried softly through the evening air, "leave after moonrise." Then he continued onward, leaving Rowan alone beside the water. The harbor grew quieter. Wind glowed warmly throughout the town. Lanterns illuminated pathways. The lighthouse beam swept slowly across the sea. Round and round, steady, comforting. Reliable Rowan remained upon the dock, holding the compass, listening to the waves, watching the stars multiply overhead, and somewhere deep within, a decision began to form. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, like a tide slowly changing direction. Perhaps some journeys cannot be planned. Perhaps some maps cannot be drawn beforehand. Perhaps some destinations reveal themselves only after we begin moving toward them. The moon rose above the eastern hills. Silver light spilled across the harbor. The water shimmered. The rooftops glowed softly. The entire town seemed transformed. The compass stirred in Rowan's hand. For the first time, the needle stopped circling. Slowly, deliberately, it pointed toward the western horizon, toward the open sea, toward darkness filled with stars, toward places beyond every known chart. Rowan looked out across the water. The needle remained steady. The breeze carried the scent of salt and distant adventure. And in that moment, he knew, tomorrow night, he would sail, not in search of treasure, not in search of fame, not even in search of answers, but in search of wonder, the oldest reason for any journey, the most peaceful reason of all. The sea stretched quietly before him. The stars shone above. The compass rested warm in his hand. And somewhere beyond the horizon, the quiet seas were waiting. The night after his decision arrived quietly. No grand signs appeared in the sky. No sudden changes swept across harbor blue. The town remained exactly as it had always been. And perhaps that made the moment even more special. Because sometimes, the beginning of an extraordinary journey looks very much like an ordinary evening. The day passed peacefully. The harbor welcomed fishing boats, returning from calm waters. Shopkeepers greeted familiar customers. Children played beneath the summer sun. The lighthouse stood watch over the bay. And throughout it all, Rowan prepared, not hurriedly, not anxiously, simply carefully. His vessel was small, a single-masted sailboat named the Evening Tide. She was not the fastest boat in the harbor, nor the largest, nor the most impressive. But Rowan loved her. Her wooden deck had been polished smooth by years of sea air. Her sails carried the scent of salt and sunshine. Her cabin was simple and comfortable, a place where long journeys felt peaceful. Inside the cabin stood a narrow bed, a small stove, shelves filled with books and maps, and a round window through which moonlight often entered during calm nights. At sea, Rowan spent the afternoon checking ropes, folding sails, packing supplies, fresh water, tea leaves, a lantern, several blankets, his journal, and, of course, the unfinished map of the Quiet Seas. The map rested inside a leather case beside his desk, waiting. Much like Rowan himself waiting. By sunset, everything was ready. The boat rocked gently beside the dock. The harbor glowed with evening light. And somewhere above, the first stars began to appear. One by one, gently, as stars always do. Rowan walked slowly through town before departure. Not because he had forgotten anything, but because he wanted to remember. He passed the bakery where warm bread cooled in the windows. He crossed the village square, where musicians sometimes played during summer evenings. He followed a stone pathway lined with flowers. Every sight felt meaningful. Every familiar corner seemed to offer a quiet farewell. The town was not sad, nor was Rowan. There was simply an appreciation for what already existed, for what was known, for what felt like home. As darkness settled, the moon rose, large, golden, peaceful. Its reflection stretched across the harbor like a pathway of silver light. And at that very moment, the brass compass stirred inside Rowan's pocket. He removed it carefully. The needle pointed west, steady, certain, waiting. Just as Captain Alder had promised, moonrise, the time had come. Rowan returned to the dock. A handful of townspeople stood nearby, not gathered for a celebration, not gathered for a farewell. Simply gathered because Harbor Blue had always been a place where neighbors cared for one another. Captain Alder stood among them, hands resting comfortably upon his walking stick. When Rowan approached, the old sailor smiled. "You listen to the compass." Rowan smiled back. "It seems difficult not to." The captain nodded. "That's usually how the best journeys begin." The harbor lantern glowed softly above the water. The sea remained calm. The sky sparkled with stars. Everything felt peaceful, as though the world itself approved of the voyage. One by one, the townspeople wished Rowan safe travels. Then they returned to their homes. Soon only Captain Alder remained. The old sailor stepped closer, his voice lowered slightly. "There is something you should remember." Rowan listened. "The quiet seas are not reached by sailing faster." The captain looked toward the horizon. "They are reached by noticing." The words hung gently in the night air, not demanding understanding, simply offering wisdom. Ron nodded, and somehow he felt he understood. At least a little. The old sailor smiled, then turned toward town. Before leaving, he called back, "Follow wonder." And then he disappeared among the lantern-lit streets. Rowan stood alone beside his boat. The moonlight danced across the water. The compass pointed west. The sails waited quietly. Everything was ready. He stepped aboard. The wooden deck creaked softly beneath his feet, comfortably, familiar. The evening tide welcomed him home, even as it prepared to carry him somewhere entirely new. With practiced movements, he untied the ropes securing the vessel. The harbor current nudged gently against the hull. The boat drifted slightly. Like a sleeper beginning to dream, Ran raised the sail. The evening breeze filled it immediately, not strongly, not forcefully. Just enough. The harbor slowly began to slide behind him. The dock, the cottages, the lighthouse, the familiar shoreline, all growing smaller, more distant, yet somehow more beautiful. The lighthouse beam swept across the sea, round and round, round and round. Its warm light touched the evening tide one final time, a silent blessing for the journey ahead. Rowan stood at the helm, watching harbor blue recede into the night. The sea opened before him wide, calm, endless. Above, the stars glittered like scattered diamonds. The moon floated serenely among them, and below, their reflections shimmered upon the water. The boundary between sea and sky seemed to soften, almost disappearing entirely. Oars passed, slowly, peacefully. The boat moved with the rhythm of the waves. The sail whispered softly overhead. The sea breathed beneath him. And gradually, the familiar world faded. Not vanished, simply distant. Harbor blue became a collection of tiny lights upon the horizon. Then only a faint glow, then nothing at all. Ranyan was alone upon the open water, yet he did not feel lonely. The night itself felt like company. The stars felt like companions. The sea felt welcoming, as though it had been waiting for him. Near midnight, something curious happened. The compass needle shifted, not dramatically, not suddenly. It simply adjusted a few degrees, pointing slightly southwest. Rowan altered course. The evening tide responded smoothly. The wind remained gentle. The sea remained calm. And somewhere ahead, something shimmered. At first, Rowan thought it was moonlight, a trick of reflection, a pattern among the waves. But the shimmer remained, growing slowly brighter, growing slowly closer. He watched carefully. The glow spread across the horizon. Silver, blue, soft gold, colors, unlike anything he had ever seen upon the sea. The water itself seemed illuminated from below, as though stars rested beneath the surface. The boat entered the glowing region gradually, wave by wave. The transformation was breathtaking. Every ripple sparkled, every current shimmered. Light drifted through the water in slow patterns, gentle and beautiful. The sea had become a living mirror of the night sky. Rowan knelt beside the rail, studying the glowing depths. Tiny points of light floated beneath the surface, thousands of them, perhaps millions. Not fish, not lanterns, something else, something magical, something peaceful. The boat glided onward through the luminous water, silently, gracefully, almost dreamlike. And then, far in the distance, he heard a sound, a bell, soft, clear, beautiful. One note, then silence. Several moments later, another bell answered, far away, gentle, melodic. The sounds drifted across the water like fragments of a forgotten song. Rowan stood, listening. The bells continued, never loud, never urgent, only calm, only inviting. The compass needle pointed directly toward them, toward whatever lay beyond the glowing sea, toward the next chapter of the journey, toward an island hidden somewhere beneath moonlight and stars. An island waiting patiently in the quiet seas. The bells rang again, softly, beautifully, and the evening tide continued forward, carried by wind, guided by wonder, following the music across the sleeping ocean. The bells continued through the night, soft, gentle, unhurried. Each note drifted across the water like a feather carried upon a breeze. Some sounded near, others seemed impossibly distant. Together, they formed no melody Rowan could recognize, and yet the sound felt familiar, comforting, like remembering a pleasant dream without recalling its details. The evening tide glided steadily forward. The glowing sea stretched in every direction. The stars above reflected perfectly upon the water below. At times, it seemed as though the boat floated through the sky itself. Hours passed, or perhaps only minutes. Time behaved differently here. The usual rhythm of clocks felt unimportant. Only the movement of the sea mattered. Only the sound of the bells. Only the steady journey westward. Then, through the silver moonlight, an island appeared. At first it was only a shadow upon the horizon, a darker shape against the night sky. Gradually, it grew clearer. Gentle hills rose above the shoreline. Trees swayed softly in the breeze. And across those hills, hundreds of tiny lights glimmered. Not lanterns, not windows. Something else. Something that seemed to dance with every note of the bells. Rowan adjusted his course. The compass needle remained steady. The island drew closer. Soon he could see its shoreline. Smooth white sand curved around a peaceful bay. Small waves rolled lazily onto the beach. The water remained clear and luminous. The bells sounded slightly louder now, not loud enough to disturb the silence, only close enough to invite curiosity. The evening tide drifted into the sheltered bay. The sail fluttered softly. The boat slowed, then settled gently upon the calm water. Rowan lowered the anchor. The chain disappeared soundlessly into the glowing sea. For a moment, he simply stood upon the deck, looking, listening, breathing. The island felt remarkably peaceful. No signs of danger. No signs of urgency. Only welcome. Only stillness. Only wonder. At last he stepped ashore. The sand felt cool beneath his feet. The night air carried the scent of wildflowers and sea salt. Above him, countless stars filled the sky. The bells rang softly among them. He followed a winding path leading inland. The path climbed gradually through gentle meadows. Silver grasses swayed beside it. Moonflowers opened beneath the starlight. Tiny glowing insects drifted lazily through the air. Every few moments, another bell sounded clear, beautiful. As Rowan continued walking, he finally discovered the source. The hills were covered with bell towers, not enormous towers, small ones, some no taller than a cottage, others barely larger than garden sheds. Each tower held a single bell. Hundreds of towers, hundreds of bells, scattered across the island like flowers. The sight was extraordinary. Moonlight bathed the towers in silver light. The bells swayed gently in the breeze, and whenever they moved, their notes drifted across the island, never clashing, never competing, only blending together in quiet harmony. Rowan approached the nearest tower. Its bell was made of polished bronze, beautifully aged, smooth from years of wind and weather. As it rang softly, he noticed something unusual. The sound seemed to carry images, not visible images, something felt rather than seen. For a brief moment, he remembered sitting beside a fireplace during winter. Warm blankets, crackling wood, snow falling outside, a peaceful memory from childhood. Then the bell fell silent. The memory faded, leaving behind only comfort. Ron stood quietly. A second bell rang somewhere across the hillside. Immediately another memory surfaced. Walking along a beach at sunrise, hearing waves, feeling sand beneath his feet, watching seabirds drift above the water. Again, the memory dissolved gently. Like mist beneath morning sunlight, the realization slowly formed. These bells carried memories, not grand memories, not dramatic ones. Simple memories, comforting memories, moments of peace, moments of contentment, moments that often slipped unnoticed through ordinary days. Yet here, they were preserved, protected, remembered. Rowan continued walking among the towers. Each bell revealed another quiet moment. The smell of fresh bread, the sound of rain upon a roof, a favorite book beside a window, the warmth of afternoon sunlight, the feeling of grass beneath bare feet. Thousands of simple treasures, all gently ringing across the island. Eventually, he reached the highest hill. At its summit stood the largest bell of all. It rested within a circular stone pavilion open to the night sky. Unlike the others, this bell remained silent, perfectly still, perfectly calm. Rowan approached. Moonlight reflected from its polished surface. Ancient symbols circled its edge, and beneath those symbols, a simple inscription. It read, "What is remembered never truly leaves." The words felt important, yet they carried no heaviness. Only comfort, only reassurance. Rowan sat beside the great bell. The smaller bells continued ringing across the island below. Their notes drifted through the night, soft and endless, like a lullaby sung by memory itself. He listened for a long while. The breeze moved gently through the pavilion. Stars turned slowly overhead. The sea shimmered beyond the hills. Everything seemed perfectly balanced, perfectly at peace. Then, far below, the compass stirred, redding in Rowan's pocket. Its needle shifted slightly, pointing farther west, toward another destination, toward another chapter of the Quiet Seas. The island had offered its gift, a reminder, a collection of peaceful moments, a celebration of simple joys. And now the journey continued. Rowan descended the hillside slowly. The bells accompanied him, one by one, softly, beautifully, until he reached the shore once more. The evening tide waited patiently in the moonlit bay, rocking gently upon the glowing water, like a friend resting beneath the stars before boarding. Rowan looked back one final time. The island shimmered beneath the moonlight. Hundreds of bell towers stood among the hills. Their music drifted across the sea, gentle, comforting, endless. Then he stepped aboard, raised the sail, and followed the compass westward. The island slowly receded behind him, its bells growing fainter, softer, more distant, until only the memory remained. And ahead, far beyond the horizon, another wonder awaited. The sea glowed quietly beneath the stars. The wind whispered through the sail, and the evening tide carried Rowan deeper into the quiet seas, toward a place sailors rarely spoke about, a place known only by a curious name, the Garden Adrift. The island of sleeping bells gradually disappeared into the night. Its hills faded into silver mist. Its towers became distant silhouettes. Its music softened until it blended with the whisper of the sea, and soon, only the memory remained. A peaceful memory, one among many now traveling beside Rowan. The evening tide sailed onward. The moon climbed higher overhead. Its reflection stretched across the water like a pathway woven from light. The sea remained calm, the wind remained gentle, and the compass continued pointing west, steady, certain, on. Rowan stood at the helm. The night wrapped around him like a comfortable blanket. There was something different about the quiet seas, something difficult to explain. The farther he traveled, the less he felt the need to hurry. Thoughts arrived more slowly here. Breaths became deeper. Moments seemed larger, as though time itself had decided to rest. The hours passed peacefully. Stars drifted across the heavens. Clouds moved lazily above the horizon. The sea glowed softly beneath them all. Then, just before midnight, a new fragrance appeared upon the breeze. At first it was faint, barely noticeable. A hint of sweetness carried across the water. Rowan paused. The scent reminded him of spring gardens after rain, fresh blossoms, morning dew, wildflowers opening beneath sunlight. The fragrance grew stronger. The compass needle trembled slightly, and far ahead, tiny lights appeared, not stars, not lanterns, not ships, something else. Something scattered across the water itself. Rowan guided the evening tide closer. The lights multiplied, dozens, hundred, thousands, until the horizon seemed covered in them. The sight was breathtaking. Floating islands drifted across the sea. Not large islands. Many were no bigger than a small cottage. Others resembled tiny gardens. Some carried only a single tree. Others overflowed with flowers. Together they floated gently upon the currents, moving slowly, gracefully, like leaves drifting across a quiet pond. This was the Garden Adrift. The stories had been true. Moonlight illuminated the floating gardens. White flowers glowed softly. Blue blossoms shimmered like stars. Silver petals reflected the night sky. Every island carried its own beauty, its own personality, its own peaceful charm. The evening tide entered the drifting garden carefully. The floating islands parted naturally, creating pathways through the blossoms. The boat glided silently between them. Rowan could hardly believe what he was seeing. Flowers covered every direction. Roses, lilies, lavender, moonflowers, species he recognized, and countless others he did not. Their fragrances mingled upon the breeze, creating a scent unlike anything he had ever experienced. Calming, gentle, comforting, like every pleasant memory of nature gathered together. Nearby, a tiny island drifted past. Upon it stood a single cherry tree, Its pale blossoms shimmered beneath the moonlight. Petals drifted lazily onto the water. Each petal glowed briefly before dissolving into silver light. Farther away, another island carried an entire field of lavender. The flowers swayed rhythmically with the motion of the sea. Their scent filled the air, soft, familiar. Relaxing Rowan reduced the sail, allowing the boat to move even more slowly. There was no reason to rush through such a place. Every garden deserved attention. Every flower deserved a moment of appreciation. The currents guided him deeper into the floating landscape. Soon he noticed something curious. The flowers seemed to open as he passed. Not dramatically, not magically, simply naturally, as though greeting him. Moonflowers unfolded their petals. Silver lilies turned gently toward the boat. Tiny glowing blossoms brightened slightly. The entire garden felt alive, awake, aware, yet completely peaceful. As the boat drifted onward, Rowan noticed a larger island ahead, much larger than the others. At its center stood a magnificent tree. Its branches spread wide above the water. Thousands of luminous flowers hung from its limbs, golden, silver, blue, white. The tree glowed softly against the night sky, like a living constellation. The currents carried the evening tide toward it. The approach felt ceremonial somehow, quiet, respectful, wonder-filled. When he reached the island, Rowan stepped ashore. The ground felt surprisingly steady beneath his feet. Soft grass covered the floating earth. Tiny flowers bloomed everywhere. The great tree towered above him. Its blossoms drifted gently through the air. Each falling petal shimmered like moonlight. He approached slowly. The air beneath the branches felt cool and peaceful, almost sacred. The flowers released a faint glow, enough to illuminate the grass, enough to create a circle of gentle light. At the base of the tree rested a wooden bench, simple, weathered, comfortable, as though it had been waiting there for years, perhaps centuries. Waiting for travelers, waiting for dreamers, waiting for anyone willing to sit quietly for a while. Ron sat. Above him, the blossoms moved softly in the breeze. Petals floated downward, one after another, drifting lazily through the moonlight. The sight was mesmerizing. No two petals followed the same path. Each journey was unique, yet everyone arrived gently upon the earth. There was a lesson hidden there, though Rowan could not quite put it into words. Perhaps every journey unfolds differently. Perhaps every life follows its own current. And perhaps that is exactly as it should be. For a long time, he simply watched, breathing slowly, listening to the sea, feeling the peaceful rhythm of the floating garden. Nothing more was required. Nothing more was needed. Eventually, a petal landed upon his hand. Unlike the others, it did not dissolve. It remained, glowing softly. Warm to the touch, Rowan examined it carefully. Its surface shimmered with delicate patterns, almost like a map. Tiny pathways branched across the petal, flowing toward a distant point. The compass in his pocket stirred once again. The needle shifted. Not west this time, northwest, toward another destination, another wonder waiting beyond the horizon. The petal brightened briefly, then dissolved into a gentle spark of light carried away by the breeze. Its message delivered, its purpose fulfilled. Rowan smiled. The quiet seas always seemed to know exactly when to guide a traveler onward. Reluctantly, he rose from the bench. The great tree continued shedding luminous blossoms. The floating gardens continued drifting across the sea. Everything remained peaceful. Everything remained beautiful. And somehow, that made departure easier, because he knew the garden would continue long after he left, its flowers opening beneath moonlight, its islands following the currents, its petals drifting across the sea, a timeless wonder fondly awaiting future dreamers. Ron returned to the evening tide. The boat welcomed him once more. The sail caught the breeze, the currents shifted. And slowly, the Garden Adrift began to recede behind him, its countless blossoms becoming smaller, softer. more distant, until they resembled stars floating upon the sea. Ahead, the water changed. The glowing currents faded. The waves grew smoother, calmer, more reflective. The sea became so still that it resembled polished glass. The horizon disappeared entirely, sea and sky merging into one endless mirror. The compass pointed steadily forward, toward a place whispered about in only the oldest stories. A place where the ocean reflected, not merely the stars, but dreams themselves, the sea of glass. The floating gardens drifted quietly into the distance. Their blossoms became scattered points of light upon the horizon. Their fragrances faded into memory. And before long, Rowan sailed alone once more. The evening tide moved steadily forward. The moon hung high above the world, silver and serene. The wind softened, the waves diminished. And gradually, the sea changed. At first, the transformation was subtle. The swells became smaller. The ripples became gentler. The water seemed to settle, as though it were preparing for sleep. Soon, even the smallest waves disappeared. The surface became smooth, perfectly smooth, like polished glass, like still water held inside an enormous bowl. The evening tide glided forward without resistance. Its reflection appeared beneath it with astonishing clarity. Every rope, every sail, every lantern mirrored perfectly. Rowan leaned against the railing, looking downward. For a moment, he could not tell where the sea ended and the sky began. The stars shone above. The stars shone below. The moon floated overhead. The moon floated beneath him. The entire world had become a reflection, a dream suspended between two skies. This was the Sea of Glass, a place spoken of only in fragments, a place many sailors believed existed only in stories. Yet here it was, quiet, endless, beautiful. The silence felt different here. Not empty, not lonely, full the kind of silence found inside ancient libraries, inside snow-covered forests, inside moments of deep contentment. Rowan listened carefully. There was almost nothing to hear. The occasional creak of wood, the faint whisper of fabric against the mast, the gentle sound of his own breathing. And beyond that, stillness. The Sea of Glass seemed to invite slowness, to encourage observation, to reward patience. So Rowan allowed himself to simply be present. He watched the stars, hundreds of them, thousands, perhaps millions. Each one reflected perfectly upon the water. Their light stretched across the mirrored sea, creating pathways of silver and gold. Some reflections seemed brighter than the stars themselves. Others shimmered softly like distant lanterns. Hours passed, or perhaps moments. Time felt even less important here. The usual boundaries between minutes and hours seemed to dissolve. The compass remained steady. Its needle pointed toward the western horizon. Yet Rowan felt no urgency to reach it. The journey itself had become the destination. Eventually, something unusual appeared ahead. A star. Or at least, it looked like a star. Brighter than all the others, larger, closer, resting directly upon the horizon. Ryan watched. The star remained motionless. Its reflection glowed beneath it, creating a column of light stretching across the sea. The compass needle shifted slightly, pointing directly toward it. The evening tide continued forward. The mysterious light gradually grew larger, and as it did, its true shape became visible. It was not a star, nor a lantern, nor a lighthouse. It was an observatory, a circular building standing upon a tiny island. Its dome reflected moonlight. Its windows glowed softly, and above it, a great telescope pointed toward the heavens. The structure appeared impossibly elegant, as though built from starlight itself. The island seemed to float upon the Sea of Glass, a solitary sanctuary beneath endless skies. Rowan approached carefully. The island's shoreline emerged from the darkness. Smooth stone pathways curved between silver grasses. Small lanterns illuminated the entrance. The sea remained perfectly still. Even here, even at the island's edge, the evening tide drifted gently to shore. Rowan lowered the anchor, then stepped onto the island. The air felt cool, fresh, peaceful. He followed the lantern-lit path. Each step echoed softly upon the stone. The observatory grew larger. Its dome shimmered beneath the stars. The great telescope remained fixed upon the sky, watching patiently, waiting. The front door stood open, not wide, just enough. An invitation, a welcome. Rowan entered. The interior was warm, comfortable. Kit shelf curved around the circular walls, filled not with books, but with star charts. Thousands of them, carefully drawn maps of constellations, galaxies, comets, nebulae, celestial wonders beyond imagination. At the center of the room stood a single desk, and seated beside it was an elderly woman. Her silver hair flowed over her shoulders. Her eyes sparkled like distant stars. She looked up from her chart and smiled. "Welcome, Cartographer." Her voice was gentle, calm, almost musical. Rowan smiled in return. Welcome seems to be a common word in the quiet seas. The woman laughed softly. That is because every traveler arrives exactly when they are meant to. She gestured toward the telescope. Would you like to see something? Rowan nodded. Together they climbed a narrow staircase leading into the dome. Above them, the roof slowly opened, revealing the entire night sky. The sight took his breath away. The stars seemed closer here, brighter, more vivid, as though the observatory stood nearer to the heavens than the rest of the world. The woman adjusted the telescope carefully, then stepped aside. Rowan looked through the eyepiece. At first he saw only stars, beautiful, countless, endless. Then the image shifted. The stars transformed. Each point of light became a story, a moment, a memory, a dream. Some belonged to children imagining future adventures. Some belonged to travelers watching distant horizons. Some belonged to people sitting quietly beside windows on rainy afternoons. Every dream, every hope, every peaceful thought, shining together. Like stars, the realization filled him with wonder. The sky above was not merely a collection of distant lights. It was a tapestry woven from countless lives, countless journeys, countless moments of quiet beauty. The woman smiled. Most people spend their lives looking down. She gazed upward through the open dome. But wonder often lives above us. Together they stood in silence, watching the stars, watching the reflections, watching the infinite beauty of the night. Outside, the sea of glass mirrored every light perfectly. Sky above, sky below. The observatory suspended between them, a bridge connecting earth and dream. Eventually, the compass stirred once more. Its needle moved gently, pointing beyond the observatory, beyond the western horizon, toward another destination, another chapter, another wonder waiting patiently in the quiet seas. The woman noticed and smiled knowingly. It is time. Rowan nodded, though part of him wished to remain, to watch the stars forever, to linger within the peaceful observatory. Yet journeys move forward, just as tides turn, just as stars cross the sky. He thanked the woman, descended the staircase, and returned to the evening tide. The observatory glowed softly behind him. Its lanterns reflected upon the sea of glass. Its telescope continued watching the heavens. Its keeper continued charting the stars, patiently, peacefully, as she always had, as she always would. The anchor rose, the sail filled gently, and once more, the evening tide began moving westward, across the mirrored sea, toward the next wonder waiting beyond the horizon, toward a place sailors rarely described, because no description ever seemed adequate. A place known as the Lighthouse above the clouds. The observatory gradually faded behind him. Its lanterns became distant points of light. Its shining dome merged with the stars. And soon, the sea of glass stretched endlessly around the evening tide once more. Rowan stood quietly at the helm. The memory of the observatory remained with him. The stars felt different now. Not because they had changed, but because he had. Every light overhead seemed connected to a story, a dream, a moment of wonder. And as he sailed onward, he found himself looking upward more often. The sky felt closer than ever. The compass rested comfortably in his hand. Its brass surface reflected moonlight. Its needle remained steady, guiding him toward the next destination. Hours passed peacefully. The sea remained calm. The stars drifted slowly across the heavens. The moon began its gradual descent toward the western horizon. Then, something appeared ahead. At first, Rowan mistook it for a cloud bank, a pale shape resting along the horizon. Soft white, motionless. Yet, as the evening tide approached, the shape grew larger, and larger, and larger still, until Rowan realized what he was seeing. It was not a cloud. It was a mountain made entirely of clouds. Its vast slopes rose from the sea like a floating continent. Billowing towers of white mist climbed toward the heavens. Clouds layered upon clouds. Soft peaks, gentle ridges, rolling valleys. The sight was magnificent. Moonlight illuminated the cloud mountain from above. Silver light flowed across its contours, creating shadows and highlights that shifted continuously. The entire formation seemed alive, breathing, moving, dreaming, and at its highest point, barely visible among the clouds, stood a lighthouse, a single tower, tall and elegant. Its lantern shone warmly across the night, a golden beacon suspended above the world. This was the lighthouse above the clouds. The evening tide sailed closer. The sea around the cloud mountain remained perfectly calm. The reflected lighthouse beam stretched across the water, a pathway of gold and silver guiding travelers, home guiding dreamers, onward, guiding wanderers through the night. The compass needle pointed directly toward it, steady, certain, as though recognizing an old friend. Soon Rowan reached the mountain's edge. To his amazement, a staircase emerged from the clouds, not stone, not wood, cloud itself. Soft white steps winding gently upward. The staircase disappeared into the mist above, leading toward the lighthouse. The evening tide settled beside the cloud shore, rocking peacefully waiting. Rowan stepped carefully onto the first cloud step. It felt surprisingly solid, soft beneath his feet, yet perfectly supportive. He climbed slowly. The staircase spiraled upward, through layers of drifting mist, each step carrying him higher. The sea grew distant below. The stars seemed closer above. Clouds moved around him, curling gently through the night air, cool and refreshing. At times, the mist became so thick that he could see only a few steps ahead. Then it would part again, revealing breathtaking views. The mirrored sea far below, the moonlit horizon, the endless night sky. The climb felt timeless, not difficult, not tiring, simply peaceful, a gradual ascent through stillness. Eventually, the clouds thinned. The staircase emerged onto a broad plateau, a meadow of clouds spread in every direction, soft as fresh snow, bright beneath the moonlight. And there, at its center, stood the lighthouse. It was beautiful, more beautiful than Rowan had imagined. Its white stone walls shimmered softly. Its windows glowed with warm golden light. Flowering vines climbed its sides. And above everything else, the lantern turned slowly, steadily, paddily, its beams sweeping across the heavens, round and round, round and round. Like the heartbeat of the night itself, Rowan approached. The lighthouse door stood open. A warm glow spilled onto the cloud meadow, inviting, welcoming. Inside, the air smelled faintly of cedar and tea. A fire crackled gently in a stone hearth. Comfortable chairs rested beside large windows. Books filled curved shelves. The atmosphere felt less like a lighthouse and more like a home. A place where travelers could rest. A place where stories gathered. A place where peace lived. Near the hearth sat an elderly keeper. His white beard flowed almost to his waist. His eyes reflected kindness. And when he smiled, the entire room seemed warmer. "Welcome," he said softly. Rowan smiled. "It seems everyone here says that." The keeper laughed quietly. "That is because wonder welcomes everyone." The words lingered pleasantly in the room. The keeper poured tea into 2 small cups. Steam drifted upward. The fragrance was calming, gentle, familiar. Together they sat beside the fire, listening to the soft crackle of burning wood. Outside, clouds drifted past the windows. The lighthouse lantern continued its steady turning. The keeper eventually spoke. "Do you know what this lighthouse guides?" Rowan considered the question. "Ships." The keeper shook his head gently. "Dreams." The answer felt perfectly natural, as though it had always been obvious. The old man gestured toward the window. Beyond the glass, the lantern beams swept across the cloud sea. "Every night," he said, "countless dreamers begin journeys. Some seek answers, some seek memories, some seek peace, and some simply seek rest." The lantern turned again. Its golden light stretched across the horizon. "My task is simple," the keeper smiled. "I help them remember the way home." The room grew quiet once more, comfortably quiet, the kind of silence shared between old friends. After a time, the keeper rose. "Come." He led Rowan up a spiral staircase, higher and higher, toward the lantern room. The climb was slow, peaceful, unhurried. At last they reached the top. The lantern room glowed with warm golden light. Huge windows surrounded the circular chamber. Through them, the entire world was visible: the sea, the stars, the clouds, the distant horizon. Everything. The great lantern stood at the center, turning slowly, its light bright but gentle, powerful yet comforting. Rowan stood beside it, watching its beams sweep across the night. And suddenly, he understood. Every place he had visited within the quiet seas shared something in common. The bells preserved memories. The gardens celebrated beauty. The observatory honored wonder. And the lighthouse offered guidance. Each place reflected a different kind of peace, a different way of seeing the world, a different reminder of what truly mattered. The realization settled comfortably within him, like a lantern being lit, warm, steady, quiet. The keeper smiled knowingly, as though he understood exactly what Rowan had discovered. Neither spoke. Words were unnecessary. The lantern turned. The clouds drifted. The stars shone, and the night continued. Eventually, the compass stirred once more. The needle shifted, pointing beyond the cloud mountain toward another destination, another chapter of the journey. The keeper nodded. "It is time." Rowan smiled. He had expected as much. Journeys continue, wonders unfold, and every path eventually leads onward. Together, they descended the spiral staircase, back through the lighthouse, back across the cloud meadow, back toward the waiting boat. The keeper offered a final farewell. "May wonder always guide you." Then he returned to the lighthouse, its warm light glowing behind him, its lantern turning patiently above. The staircase of clouds carried Rowan downward, step by step, until he reached the sea once more. The evening tide waited quietly, ready for whatever came next, ready for the next horizon, ready for the next dream hidden within the quiet seas. Ahead, far beyond the cloud mountain, another destination awaited. A harbor unlike any Rowan had ever seen, a place where voices never rushed, where conversations flowed like gentle rivers, where every word carried kindness, a place known simply as the Harbor of Quiet Voices. The lighthouse above the clouds glowed softly behind him. Its golden beam swept patiently across the horizon, round and round, round and round, steady, comforting, reliable. For a long while, Rowan could still see its light, even as the cloud mountain gradually disappeared into the distance. Eventually, the clouds faded. The lighthouse became a tiny star upon the horizon. And finally, it too slipped gently into memory. The evening tide sailed onward. The sea remained calm, the stars remained bright, and the compass continued guiding him westward. Its needle moved with quiet confidence, as though it already knew every destination waiting ahead. The night deepened, the moon drifted lower, its silver reflection stretched across the water. The wind whispered softly through the sail, And Rowan found himself thinking about the places he had visited. The island of sleeping bells, the Garden Adrift, the sea of glass, the lighthouse above the clouds. Each place had offered something different, yet each had shared the same feeling, a sense of calm, a sense of wonder, a sense that the world contained far more beauty than most people noticed. The thought stayed with him as the hours passed. Then, just before dawn's first hint appeared upon the horizon, he saw lights ahead, dozens of them. Warm amber lights, scattered across the darkness, unlike the floating gardens, unlike the lighthouse, unlike anything he had seen before. The lights remained low to the water, steady, welcoming. The compass pointed directly toward them. The evening tide approached slowly, and gradually, a harbor emerged from the night. Wooden docks extended into calm water. Small boats rested beside them. Lanterns hung from posts. Their reflection shimmered gently upon the sea. Stone buildings lined the waterfront. Each window glowed warmly. The entire harbor felt peaceful, as though it existed outside ordinary time. No hurried footsteps echoed along the docks. No raised voices disturbed the stillness. No sounds competed for attention. Everything moved at a gentle pace. Everything seemed content. This was the harbor of quiet voices. The evening tide drifted into the harbor. The water remained smooth. The lanterns cast circles of golden light upon the surface. And somewhere nearby, soft conversation floated through the air. Not loud, not urgent, simply present. The sound felt comforting, like hearing familiar voices from another room while resting safely at home. Ron secured the boat and stepped onto the dock. The wood creaked softly beneath his feet. A warm breeze carried the scent of tea and cedar wood. Nearby, an elderly couple sat upon a bench overlooking the harbor, speaking quietly, listening carefully. Neither rushed the other. Neither interrupted. Their conversation flowed as calmly as the sea itself. Farther along the waterfront, a small gathering sat beneath lanterns, sharing stories, smiling occasionally, pausing often, comfortable with silence, comfortable with stillness. The atmosphere felt unusual, yet deeply familiar, like something the world had once known and perhaps forgotten. Ron followed the waterfront path. The harbor seemed larger than it first appeared. Every corner revealed another peaceful scene. Friends sharing tea, travelers exchanging stories, neighbors sitting together beneath the stars. No one hurried, no one checked clocks. No one seemed concerned with what came next. They simply enjoyed the moment they were already living. Eventually, Rowan reached a small cafe overlooking the water. Its door stood open. Warm light spilled onto the stone pathway. Inside, people sat around wooden tables. Some spoke quietly, others listened. A few simply watched the harbor through large windows. The room felt wonderfully calm. Rowan entered. A woman behind the counter smiled. "Welcome." Her voice was soft and kind. She placed a steaming cup of tea before him, though he had not ordered anything. The gesture felt perfectly natural, almost expected. Darian settled into a chair beside the window. The tea smelled of herbs and honey, comforting, familiar. Outside, lanterns reflected upon the water. Boats rocked gently at their moorings. The harbor breathed peacefully in the darkness. As Rowan sipped his tea, he noticed something remarkable. No conversation in the cafe overlapped another, not because people were silent, but because everyone truly listened. When someone spoke, others paid attention. When someone finished, silence rested comfortably between words. The pauses were never awkward, never empty. They felt meaningful, like space between musical notes. Necessary, beautiful. The realization slowly formed. This harbor celebrated listening, not merely speaking, listening. The simple act of giving another person your full attention, a skill often overlooked, a gift often underestimated. Yet here, it was treasured, protected, practiced. Rowan watched quietly. A traveler shared a story about a distant island. Others listened patiently, An elderly fisherman described a sunrise he had witnessed years ago. The listener smiled, not because the story was extraordinary, but because it mattered to him. Every voice carried value, every story deserved time, every memory deserved space. The harbor seemed built around that idea, and as Rowan sat there, he felt something within himself slow even further. The journey had already taught him much. Wonder, beauty, guidance, mirror. Now it offered another lesson, presence, the art of truly being with another person, of hearing them, of understanding them, of allowing moments to unfold without rushing toward the next one. Outside, the first hint of dawn touched the eastern horizon, barely noticeable, a faint ribbon of pale silver. The night remained, yet morning approached. The cafe grew quieter. Several travelers rose and departed. Others remained. The harbor lanterns continued glowing softly, their reflections dancing upon the water. Rowan finished his tea. The warmth lingered pleasantly. The compass rested in his pocket, silent, patient, waiting, as though it too respected the pace of this place. Eventually, it stirred gently. The needle shifted once more, pointing beyond the harbor, beyond the sea, toward another destination hidden within the quiet seas. Rowan smiled. The journey continued, yet part of him would always remember this harbor, the lantern-lit docks, the calm conversations, the quiet understanding shared among strangers, a place where listening mattered, a place where words moved slowly, a place where silence itself felt welcome. He stepped outside. The air felt cool and fresh. The horizon had grown slightly brighter. Dawn was approaching, though the stars still filled the sky. The evening tide waited beside the dock, rocking gently as Rowan boarded, untied the ropes, raised the sail, and slowly, the harbor began to recede behind him. The lanterns grew smaller. The docks faded into the distance. The soft conversations disappeared into the breeze, until only memory remained. Ahead, the compass pointed toward a destination unlike any before, a place high above the sea, a place where the stars seemed almost within reach, a place where time moved slower than anywhere else in the quiet seas, the Observatory of Slow Stars. The harbor of quiet voices gradually disappeared behind him. Its lanterns became distant points of amber light. Its docks faded into the horizon. Its calm conversations dissolved into memory. Yet the feeling remained, the feeling of being heard, the feeling of listening, the feeling of allowing moments to unfold without hurried. Rowan carried that feeling with him as the evening tide sailed onward. The sea remained calm, the wind remained gentle, and the stars continued their silent journey across the heavens. The compass rested beside him. Its brass surface glowed softly in the moonlight. The needle pointed steadily ahead, toward another wonder hidden within the quiet seas, toward one of the oldest destinations mentioned in the stories of sailors. A place few described, a place fewer still understood. The Observatory of Slow Stars. The voyage seemed quieter than usual, not because the sea had changed, but because Rowan had become more attentive. He noticed details that might once have escaped him, the shape of distant clouds, the rhythm of the water against the hull, the subtle differences between one star and another. Everything appeared more vivid, more meaningful. The quieted seas had a way of revealing beauty that had always been present, beauty often overlooked, beauty hidden within ordinary moments. Hours passed peacefully. The moon descended lower, the horizon darkened, the sea stretched endlessly in every direction. Then, far ahead, a faint glow appeared. Unlike the warm lanterns of the harbor, unlike the golden beam of the lighthouse, this glow was pale silver, almost white, steady and serene. The compass pointed directly toward it. The evening tide continued forward. The glow gradually expanded, and eventually Rowan saw its source, an island, small, yet resting alone upon the sea. At its center rose a hill of pale stone, and atop that hill stood an observatory, unlike the observatory he had visited upon the Sea of Glass. This one appeared older, much older. Its walls were smooth from centuries of wind. Its dome shimmered softly beneath the stars, and, surrounding it, dozens of enormous hourglasses stood among the grass. The sight was extraordinary. Some hourglasses towered higher than trees. Others stood no taller than a person. Each contained silver sand, and every grain seemed to fall impossibly slowly, almost motionless. The evening tide drifted toward shore. The water remained calm. The island remained silent, not empty, simply peaceful. The kind of peace found in places where time itself seems content. Rowan stepped onto the island. The air felt cool, fresh still. Above him, the stars appeared brighter than ever. The sky seemed deeper, vaster, almost infinite. He followed a winding path toward the observatory, passing the giant hourglasses along the way. Each one measured time differently. In one, a single grain fell every few moments. In another, the sand moved so slowly it seemed frozen. The effect was mesmerizing. The island itself appeared to exist beyond ordinary clocks, beyond schedules. At last, Rowan reached the observatory. The great door stood open. A soft silver light spilled outward, inviting, welcoming. Inside, the circular chamber glowed gently. Star charts covered the walls. Celestial maps rested upon tables. And at the center stood a magnificent mechanical model of the heavens. Planets moved slowly around a golden sun. Moons circled distant worlds. Stars rotated gracefully above them all. Everything moved with incredible precision, yet at an almost imperceptible pace. A figure stood nearby, an elderly astronomer. His robes shimmered faintly in the silver light. His eyes reflected countless stars, and when he smiled, it felt like greeting someone who had spent a lifetime watching the sky. "Welcome, Cartographer." His voice was calm, measured, unhurried. Rowan smiled. "Thank you." The astronomer gestured toward a staircase leading upward. "Come." Together they climbed, higher and higher, past shelves filled with celestial records, past ancient maps of constellations, past windows framing endless skies, until they reached the observatory dome. Above them, the roof slowly opened. The night sky revealed itself in all directions. The sight was breathtaking. Stars filled every corner of the heavens. Bright stars, faint stars, clusters of stars, rivers of stars stretching across the darkness. And yet something felt different. The stars appeared to move, not quickly, not noticeably, but slowly enough that patience revealed their journey. The astronomer adjusted a telescope, then stepped aside. Rowan looked through it. At first, he saw a familiar star, bright and beautiful. Then he noticed its movement, slow, graceful, steady. The star drifted across the heavens, not over minutes, not over hours, but across vast stretches of time. The telescope seemed to reveal time itself. Rowan watched in wonder. The astronomer spoke quietly. "Most people believe stars are still." He gazed upward. "They are not. Everything moves. Everything changes." The telescope shifted slightly. Another star came into view, then another, each following its own path, each part of a greater pattern, each contributing to a celestial dance far larger than any single observer could comprehend. The astronomer smiled. "There is comfort in this." Rowan lowered the telescope. "What do you mean?" The old man looked toward the horizon. "Many people worry about change. They resist it. They fear it." The stars glowed overhead, odd, timeless. "But change is natural." He pointed upward. "The stars change, the seasons change, the tides change, the clouds change." The observatory remained silent for a moment. Then he added softly, "And yet beauty remains." The words settled gently within Rowan. Simple, true, comforting. The journey itself had been a story of change. Each destination different from the last. Each experience unique. And yet every place had offered peace. Every place had offered wonder. The stars continued their slow movement across the sky. The astronomer continued watching them. The observatory continued measuring time, patiently, quietly, endlessly. For a long while, neither spoke. There was no need. The stars provided all the conversation required. Eventually, the compass stirred. The familiar motion felt almost reassuring now. The needle shifted once more, pointing beyond the observatory, beyond the island, toward the final chapters of the journey. The astronomer noticed and nodded. Every voyage returns home eventually. Rowan smiled. The words felt right. The quiet seas had offered many wonders, yet somewhere beyond the horizon, Harbor Blue waited. The thought brought comfort, not because the journey was ending, but because every good journey teaches us how to see home more clearly. The astronomer offered a final farewell. The observatory dome slowly closed. The silver light softened, and Rowan descended the winding staircase, back through the quiet halls, past the hourglasses, toward the waiting sea. The evening tide rested peacefully beside the shore. Its sail moved gently in the breeze. Its deck glowed beneath the stars. Riddy, Pat, faithful Round stepped aboard. The anchor rose, the sail filled, and once again, the boat turned toward the horizon, toward home, toward dawn, toward the final chapters of the quiet seas. The observatory slowly receded behind him, its silver glow fading into the distance, until it resembled a single star resting upon the sea. And then, even that became part of memory. Ahead lay the beginning of the return voyage, the long, peaceful journey back across the waters, back toward Harbor Blue, back toward familiar shores, back toward home. The observatory of slow stars faded gently into the distance. Its silver glow lingered upon the horizon for a long while, like a final star reluctant to leave the night sky. Then gradually, it too disappeared, leaving only the sea, the stars, and the steady journey home. The evening tide moved peacefully across calm waters. Its sail billowed softly in the breeze. Its wooden hull whispered against the sea, and Rowan stood quietly at the helm. The compass rested comfortably in his hand. The needle no longer pointed toward unknown destinations, no longer guided him toward hidden wonders. Now, it pointed toward something equally precious. Home. The realization felt comforting, not because the adventure was ending, but because every journey eventually becomes a story, and stories deserve a place to rest. The sea seemed different now, familiar somehow, as though it recognized him. The stars above appeared warmer, the wind gentler. Even the moonlight felt softer. Perhaps nothing had changed. Perhaps Rowan simply saw the world differently. The quiet seas had taught him many things. The bells had taught him the value of memory. The floating gardens had taught him the beauty of growth. The sea of glass had taught him stillness. The lighthouse had taught him guidance. The harbor had taught him listening. The observatory had taught him patience. Each lesson remained with him, like lanterns glowing quietly within. Hours passed. The night continued. The boat drifted through a silence so peaceful that it felt almost sacred. No destination demanded attention, no mystery required solving. There was only the journey itself, only the present moment, only the gentle rhythm of the sea. Rowan settled into a chair upon the deck. A blanket rested across his shoulders. The air carried a pleasant coolness, the kind often found during the final hours before dawn. He looked upward. The stars filled the sky, countless lights scattered across endless darkness, each one shining patiently, each one reminding him of the observatory, of movement, of change, of time. And yet, the stars seemed content to move slowly, never rushing, never worrying, simply following their path. The thought brought comfort. Many people spend their lives hurrying, rushing toward the next task, the next goal, the next destination. Yet, the stars never hurried, the tides never hurried, the seasons never hurried, and somehow, everything arrived exactly when it was meant to. The evening tide continued onward, steady, reliable, faithful, like an old friend. The moon drifted lower. The horizon grew slightly brighter. The first hint of dawn remained far away, yet its arrival felt certain, gentle, inevitable. As Rowan watched the eastern sky, he noticed something floating upon the water, a lantern small, golden, glowing softly. Then another appeared, and another. Soon dozens of lanterns drifted around the boat, each one casting warm reflections across the sea. The sight reminded him of every place he had visited. The bells, the flowers, the lighthouse, the stars. The lanterns seemed to carry pieces of those memories. Not the details, not the images, only the feeling. Wonder, peace, gratitude. The lanterns drifted alongside the evening tide for a long while, then gradually, one by one, they floated away, returning to the sea, returning to the night, returning to wherever such beautiful things belong. The horizon brightened further. The stars began their slow retreat, not disappearing suddenly, simply fading, yielding space to morning. Rowan watched them carefully. Each star seemed to offer a final farewell, a quiet promise that it would return again when evening arrived. The world moved in cycles, night becoming morning, morning becoming day, day becoming evening, and evening returning once more to night. There was comfort in that rhythm, comfort in knowing that some things remained dependable. The sea reflected pale silver light. The breeze softened further. The journey home continued. And somewhere far ahead, beyond the horizon, harbor blue waited patently, as it always had, as it always would. For a long while, there was nothing to do but sail, nothing to solve, nothing to chase, nothing to hurry toward. Only breathing, only drifting, only resting within the peaceful movement of the sea. The kind of quiet that invites reflection, the kind of quiet that invites rest, the kind of quiet that feels almost like a dream. Eventually, as dawn approached, a familiar shape appeared in the distance, faint at first, barely visible. A dark line separating sea from sky, the shoreline, home, harbor blue, still far away, yet unmistakable. Rowan smiled. The compass needle rested calmly, its task nearly complete. The voyage was drawing toward its final chapters. The quiet seas lay behind him, their wonders safely carried within memory. Ahead, the first golden light of morning waited beyond the horizon, and with it, the beginning of a gentle return, a gentle arrival, a gentle homecoming. The evening tide sailed onward. The sea breathed softly. The stars faded slowly, and the first colors of dawn began to paint the sky. The horizon glowed softly ahead. A pale ribbon of gold stretched across the eastern sky. Night had not yet departed, yet morning had already begun. The stars faded gradually, one by one patently, without hurry. The sea reflected the changing colors. Silver became gold, gold became rose, rose became pale blue. The entire world seemed to awaken gently, as though careful not to disturb the peace of the night. The evening tide sailed steadily onward. The breeze remained light, the water remained calm, and harbor blue slowly emerged from the dawn. At first, Rowan saw only the distant shoreline, a dark silhouette against the growing light. Then details appeared, rolling hills, white cottages, the familiar curve of the harbor. And finally, the lighthouse, its beam still turning patiently, round and round, round and round. Just as it had on the night he departed, the sight filled him with warmth. Not excitement, not relief. Something quieter, something deeper. The feeling of returning to a place that has been waiting for you. The feeling of recognition, the feeling of belonging. The lighthouse gradually grew larger. The harbor took shape. The cottages reflected morning sunlight. One glowed softly. Gardens stirred in the breeze. Smoke rose lazily from a few chimneys. The town was beginning a new day, a peaceful day, an ordinary day. And somehow, that felt extraordinary. Rowan guided the evening tide toward the harbor entrance. The familiar channel welcomed him home. The water remained smooth. The docks rested exactly where he remembered them. Everything looked unchanged. Yet everything seemed more beautiful than before. Perhaps wonder had always been here. Perhaps he had simply forgotten to notice. The boat glided quietly into the harbor. The lighthouse beam faded as daylight strengthened. Birds drifted above the water. Their reflections shimmered below. The harbor bells chimed softly, one note, then another, gentle, comforting. The sound reminded him of the island of sleeping bells. For a moment, all the journeys seemed connected, every wonder, every lesson, every memory, part of a larger story, a larger map. A map not of places, but of experiences. The evening tide reached its familiar dock. The ropes were secured, the sail lowered, the voyage complete. For a few moments, Rowan remained aboard, not because he was reluctant to leave, but because endings deserve appreciation. The boat had carried him faithfully across unknown waters. It had brought him safely home, and now it rested quietly beside the dock. The harbor welcomed him. The town welcomed him. The morning welcomed him. At last, Rowan stepped ashore. The wooden planks creaked beneath his feet. Familiar, comforting home. He walked slowly through harbor blue, past flower gardens, past stone pathways, past cottages, warmed by morning sunlight. Everything appeared exactly as he remembered, and yet, everything seemed richer somehow. The scent of bread drifting from the bakery, the sound of distant laughter, the rustling leaves, the movement of clouds overhead. Simple things, beautiful things, enough things. He reached the village square. A few early risers greeted him with smiles. A baker opened a shop door. A gardener watered flowers. A fisherman prepared his boat. Ordinary moments, yet now Rowan noticed them differently. The quiet seas had taught him something important. Wonder does not live only in distant places, it lives everywhere. In every sunrise, every conversation, every breeze, every quiet moment, every ordinary day. The realization settled gently within him, like a lantern being lit, warm, steady, comforting. As he continued walking, he noticed a familiar figure sitting upon a bench overlooking the harbor. Captain Alder. The old sailor smiled before Rowan even reached him. As I expected. Rowan laughed softly. You knew I would return. The captain nodded. Every good traveler returns. His eyes sparkled. And every good traveler returns different. The two men sat quietly for a while, watching the harbor, watching the morning unfold. Eventually, Captain Alder asked, "Did you find the quiet seas?" Rowan considered the question carefully. The bells, the gardens, the lighthouse, the observatory, the harbor, the stars, the memories, the lessons, the peace. At last he smiled. Yes, the captain nodded, as though he had expected no other answer. Then Rowan added, "And no." The old sailor laughed warmly. "Then you found them." The answer required no explanation. Both understood. Some places cannot be described. Some journeys cannot be measured. Some discoveries exist beyond words. The harbor bells chimed again. The sea sparkled beneath the rising sun. The world continued its gentle turning, and for a while, nothing more needed to be said. Eventually Rowan rose. The unfinished map waited in his workshop, the map of the quiet seas. He had begun the voyage with blank parchment. Now, he carried something far more valuable than directions: understanding, appreciation, wonder. He walked toward the workshop overlooking the harbor. The familiar door opened. The familiar desk awaited. The unfinished map rested exactly where he had left it. Rowan sat quietly. Sunlight streamed through the window. The sea shimmered beyond. The lighthouse stood watch over the harbor. And slowly he began to draw not islands, not coastlines, not routes. Instead, he drew symbols: a bell, a flower, a lantern, a star, a harbor. Simple reminders of what he had learned. The map would never guide ships. It would never appear in atlases. It would never become famous. Yet it might be the most important map he had ever created, because it charted not where to go, but how to see, how to notice, how to appreciate, how to wonder. Outside, the day continued. Inside, the map slowly took shape, and somewhere deep within, Rowan understood. The quiet seas had never been a destination. They had been a way of traveling, a way of noticing, a way of living. The realization felt peaceful, complete, like the final piece of a puzzle finding its place. The morning sunlight warmed the room. The harbor bells sounded softly in the distance, and all was well. And now, the journey is complete. The evening tide rests quietly in harbor blue. The sail has been folded. The ropes have been secured. The sea is calm. The lighthouse stands watch, and Rowan rests peacefully in his small workshop overlooking the water. There is nowhere left to travel, nothing left to discover tonight. Nothing left to solve, nothing left to do. The story has arrived safely home, and perhaps you can arrive safely too. Imagine harbor blue now, the harbor resting beneath a peaceful sky, the sea moving gently against the docks, the soft glow of lanterns reflecting upon the water, the lighthouse turning slowly, steadily, badly, round and round, round and round, its light sweeping across the quiet sea, guiding travelers home, guiding dreamers home, guiding thoughts home. The town sleeps peacefully. The baker sleeps. The gardener sleeps. The fishermen sleep. The harbor rests. The boats rest. The sea rests. Everything rests. And as you listen, perhaps you can rest as well. Imagine the evening tide floating gently beside the dock, rocking ever so slightly, back and forth, like a cradle, like a lullaby, like the steady rhythm of calm breathing, nothing hurried, nothing urgent, only gentle stillness. The stars shine. Overhead, thousands of tiny lights, quiet, watching over the sleeping world. Some stars are bright, some stars are faint, some seem close, others seem impossibly distant, yet all of them shine calmly. All of them belong exactly where they are. And perhaps, for this moment, you belong exactly where you are too. There is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing else demanding your attention. Nothing waiting to be completed tonight. The day is finished. The journey is finished. The story is finished. Only rest remains. Imagine now the island of sleeping bells, far beyond the horizon. The bells swaying gently in the moonlight. Each bell holding a peaceful memory, a warm blanket, a favorite chair, the sound of rain upon a roof, the smell of fresh bread, the comfort of home, the simple moments, the quiet moments, the beautiful moments. The bells ring softly, one note at a time, slowly, gently, comfortably. Then imagine the Garden Adrift floating peacefully across the sea, moonflowers opening beneath starlight, silver petals drifting through the air, fragrance carried upon a gentle breeze. Nothing rushed, nothing forced, only flowers opening when they are ready, only petals falling when it is time, only nature moving at its own perfect pace. Imagine the sea of glass, smooth, still, endless, the stars reflected upon its surface, the moon floating above, the moon floating below, the boundary between sky and sea disappearing, the world becoming quiet, very calm, very peaceful. And now imagine the lighthouse above the clouds, its lantern turning slowly, steadily, patiently, its golden light sweeping across the night, round and round, round and round, a beacon of comfort, a reminder that even in darkness, there is guidance. Even in silence, there is companionship. Even in stillness, there is warmth. Far away, the harbor of quiet voices rests beneath lantern light. Conversations have ended for the evening. Stories have been shared. Teacups sit empty beside windows. The harbor sleeps, the docks sleep, the sea sleeps. The silence there is comfortable. The kind of silence that asks nothing of you. The kind of silence that simply allows you to rest. And above it all, the Observatory of Slow Stars watches quietly. The stars continue their patient journey, slowly, gracefully, without hurry, without pressure, without concern. They move exactly as they should. And perhaps you can too. Perhaps your thoughts can slow, like stars crossing the heavens, like clouds drifting across the sky, like waves rolling gently onto a shore. No need to chase them. No need to follow them. Simply allow them to drift. Allow them to pass. Allow them to soften. The sea breathes, the wind breathes, the night breathes, and perhaps you can notice your own breathing. Slowly, comfortably, naturally, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Nothing more required, nothing more expected, only rest, only stillness, only peace. The lighthouse continues its gentle turning, round and round, round and round. The harbor remains quiet, the sea remains calm, the stars remain bright, and the evening tide rocks softly beside the dock, back and forth, steady, comforting save. The night grows deeper, the town sleeps more soundly, the sea grows calmer still, the stars continue shining, the lanterns glow softly, the world settles, and settles and settles, until everything feels quiet, very still, very peaceful. And somewhere, far beyond the horizon, the quiet seas continue. The bells continue ringing softly. The flowers continue blooming beneath the moon. The lighthouse continues shining. The stars continue drifting. The sea continues breathing. Everything exactly as it should be. Everything calm. Everything gentle. Everything at peace. And as the story fades, and the harbor grows quieter, and the stars drift silently overhead, you can simply rest beside the calm sea, rest beneath the patient stars, rest within the gentle rhythm of the night, knowing that harbor blue is safe, knowing that the evening tide is safe, knowing that the lighthouse is shining, knowing that all is well. The sea is calm, the stars are bright, the harbor is quiet, the journey is complete, and now there is only rest, only peace, only the soft and endless quiet of the sea. Good night, and may the quiet seas carry you gently into sleep.